And we are live. Welcome to CEO Zones. Today we're honored to have as our special guest David Medansky, international award-selling best-selling author, pardon me. He's a health strategist. He's very well known for The Jaded Life, which we're going to talk a lot about, and some of the easy things that he can teach. I'll use the term mature executives on how to change their lifestyle, how to control some of the stress, how to keep their belt from needing to get larger. And he has those 9 golden rules, I imagine we're going to dig into. So, with that, David, welcome to CEO Zone's episode of How Executives Should Be Healthy from the Health Guy.
Thank you, Bill, for having me as a guest today.
It's a pleasure to have you here. We're very glad to have you. For all of our audience, if you would like to ask David a question, we would love to have you do that and show that inside the chat. You can go ahead and type in any questions you might have and give us any reasons that you would love us to ask David and pick his brain. I will warn you that before he became the health guy, I believe I'm correct that he was a big city Chicago attorney. So be careful. He might be able to debate you. And with that, I do see some of our favorite attendees in there today. So, David, let's jump in the deep end. What are the 9 golden rules? Now, fortunately for me, I have them because I've known you right around January. You started to change my life, but let's see how 9 golden rules go.
Okay, first golden rule is to drink more water. And when I talk about water, I'm talking about pure water because our bodies are 60 to 70% water. It's not soda, diet soda, fruit juices, or milk. So that's the first thing. And 75% of the US population is chronically dehydrated,
Wow.
which has a direct correlation to 73% of the population being overweight, of which 43% are clinically obese. Now, when I started my health journey back in 2016, it was only 71%. So despite spending trillions of dollars each year on health products, we're getting unhealthier and we're getting heavier. So something is wrong. So that's the first golden rule, is to drink pure water. The second golden rule.
That is pure water, I promise. Yeah.
The second golden rule is to avoid the highly processed, ultra processed, and manufactured foods. Third golden rule is to eat real, holistic whole foods. Instead of drinking a glass of orange juice or apple juice, eat the orange, eat the apple. The reason I say that is for orange juice, it takes 4 to 8 medium oranges to make 1 glass of orange juice. So that's how much sugar your body is getting in it. Plus, they add chemicals and other additives for shelf life that you don't really want in your body.
Right.
The fourth golden rule is to eat slower. We're all in a hurry. I call it mindless eating. We'll be sitting at our desk in front of the computer. You may go through a drive-through. You may be eating a bag of chips or pretzels or cookies on the couch watching TV. You look down and it's gone. The food is gone. Where did it go? You ate it without realizing it. So Mark David wrote a book called The Slow Down Diet. And in there, he advocates if you take 5 minutes for breakfast, give yourself 10. And at a minimum, give yourself 30 minutes for lunch and 30 minutes for dinner. Golden rule number 5, eat small portions. Our portion sizes have been supersized without you realizing it. In the 1900s, the average size dinner plate was 9 inches in diameter. Today, it's 12 inches. At a restaurant, it can be 13 to 15-inch serving platters. In Europe, it's still 9 inches for a dinner size plate, except in the UK. So I recommend people use a salad plate instead of a dinner size plate. Okay. Golden rule number 6 is to get 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. If you have a TV in your bedroom, I suggest you remove it. If you have electronic devices, I advocate that you take them out. Golden rule number 7 is called rest to digest. And that's an intermittent fast of 12 hours. And most people will roll their eyes when they hear that, thinking starvation. No, it's really easy to do. And probably you're doing it right now. You stop eating 3 hours before you go to bed. You get 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. When you wake up, you drink a glass of water. For me, I drink a 22-ounce glass of water. Water is a natural appetite suppressant. It fills you up. And then your first meal is 2 or 3 hours later. That's a 12 to 13-hour fast. So that's an intermittent fast.
Mm.
Golden rule number 8 is to think positive. 80% of our thoughts are negative. So imagine if we turned that around, Bill, and made it 80% positive.
Amen.
And the last golden rule is to walk each day. Walking is the most underrated physical activity you can do. And if you're upright, breathing, and able to move forward, it's free. So you don't have to go to a gym. You don't have to do any strenuous exercises. Rebel Wilson lost 77 pounds in 1 year simply walking an hour each day. Now, I realize not everybody has an hour to devote to walking each day. However, Mindy Kaling lost weight. And what she did is when she had a 10 or 15-minute break, instead of going on social media or texting friends, she go for a 10 or 15-minute walk. Well, if you do that 3, 4, 5 times throughout the day, you're getting 30 minutes to an hour of walking. So that's the simple 9 golden rules that most of us can do. What I've learned, it's not what we can do, it's what we will do. And that's the difference.
The walking part, I can tell you that I went on a forced fun trip to Europe, and we did a cruise. I weighed myself, and David, thank you, by the way. I've been a subscriber or a follower of yours since January, but I believe it was late March. When you think about attitude, I said, David, you kept saying, "Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? This is easy. You can do it." And finally, late March, early April, you and I were doing a live stream with the Hounds of Business with Mike Ashabranner. And fortunately, I was there, and I said, you know what? Last week it clicked, and I started, and off we went. But I was able to weigh myself, go on a cruise, be gone a little over, well, right at a month, come home, put myself on the scale. And I believe because of walking, not necessarily watching what I was eating, because when you're on a cruise, you can graze 24/7, but the walking really kept me. So I weighed myself, and I did not gain weight for the first time on any cruise I've ever been on. So that was very, very helpful. So thank you about the walking. That really added a piece to it, and I now try to get over 8,000 steps, which doesn't sound like 10 or 20 like some people try, but 8,000 steps seems to be my number. If I do that every single day, I can follow the process, and it all works out, and I can continually lose weight each week. But if I don't get those steps in 5 of the 7 days at least, something else is offset. So you told us backstage. Are you willing to share that tip with everybody, or is that super secret, David?
Oh, no, no. I'm happy to share that with everybody. You're
Okay.
talking about the Apple Day?
Yeah, you shocked me. Yeah, I think everybody would love to hear that rule.
All right. So a lot of times when people are on a weight loss journey, they'll hit a weight plateau because your body needs a new set point, needs time to adjust. And if it's been 4 to 6 weeks and you haven't dropped any weight and nothing else has changed, you can do what I call an Apple Day. And I learned that on my health journey. And what it is you eat 5 apples throughout the day. You start at 11 o'clock in the morning. You have one at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 7 o'clock at night. So basically, every 2 hours, you have an apple and you drink water throughout the day, and that's it. And it'll jumpstart your metabolism. Now, the key is not to do something silly like one of my members did, where he did the apple, they dropped 3 pounds, but the next day went to McDonald's to celebrate and had a Big Mac and fries and regained all his weight. So when you do the apple day, the next day you want to stay healthy and eat, a proper diet, not go and eat fast foods or convenient foods. Stick with what you're eating. What I advocate, Bill, is a lifestyle. It's not a diet.
Right.
As you know, diets are temporary. They're extreme, hard to stick with. And most people regain weight after going on a diet. Some people gain even more. So when I advocate the lifestyle, the members keep their weight off. They enjoy their life. They're going on cruises like you did, and they're telling me the same thing. They're either coming back the same weight, or some of them have even lost weight, which is
Right.
fantastic, because you just learn to enjoy and not overindulge. And again, it's not about being perfect; it's about being consistent.
I would have to say that because when I was consistent for months every day, it was a consistent I could lose, which I've lost a total of 30 now, but I am stuck. So tomorrow sounds like it's going to be a bunch of apples in my future. All right.
Well, do you want to know the top 10 excuses used to delay starting a health journey used by people?
Give it to us.
Okay, the first one is I'll start after our vacation.
Yeah, okay, that's a good one. Yeah.
The second one is I'll start after the holidays.
Hmm.
The third one is I'll start on Monday. The fourth one is now is not the right time for me. The fifth one is I'm too busy. The sixth one is it's too expensive. Healthy foods cost too much. Reality is healthy foods cost a lot less than what's being out there now. And I remind myself of the Fram oil commercial. You can pay a little now and do it right, or you can pay a lot to the doctors and medical professionals when you're sick and have an illness that you could have prevented or avoided. Number seven, I'll start after our company picnic or party, especially now with holidays coming up.
Right.
People are going to use that excuse. I don't have time to follow a regimen. Number eight or number nine, many people who lose weight gain it all back, so why bother? And number 10, I'm always hungry and cranky on a diet.
The first couple there I have tried before, but not you wouldn't let loose on me. You kept coming after me there, January, February, and finally, I forget the exact week. I have it in. I'm sure I have it in a journal, but last week of March or early April there, when I knew I was going to be a guest, I said I better get serious about this. And once you get that, uh, I think I was right on day 40, and I know you say do 42 days and really help. I think I was right on day 40 when we did that live stream with Mike. That was very good stuff. So Alex has a question, uh, which we'll call her Alexandria, and it is, how do you feel about water flavors? Which I think you mentioned, but go ahead and make sure that everybody gets the right answer again. So
I tend to advocate against flavored water beverages. I recommend if you don't like drinking plain water, and when I talk about pure water, I'm talking about either distilled water, high quality spring water, or reverse osmosis water from a 6-stage reverse osmosis process. The reason I say that is if you ask an expert, he'll tell you distilled water. That was Paul Bragg. His student, Jack LaLanne, advocated distilled or spring water. And my mentor, Dr. David Friedman, recommends water from a 6-stage reverse osmosis. So again, you have three different experts recommending three different things. I just advocate whatever is going to work best for you, that's what you should do. With the flavored waters, if you want to add flavor to your water, add a lemon, a lime, a slice of orange, some watermelon, cantaloupe, cucumber is great. When you go on these, trips, a lot of the resorts, they'll have big jugs of water filled with fruits and vegetables in there. So if it's going to be special occasion, why not just do it all the time and keep it in your refrigerator? So that's how I would add flavor to water without getting the chemicals to put in.
right, right. And I do remember one time I think we were just alone, but we were on a video call, but there wasn't an audience. And I picked up one of those flavored waters, and you reminded me. Uh, Even though it says 0 calories, it's not clear, and it tastes like like a fruit or something like that. It's not good. So
Well, talk about 0 calories. I get the argument all the time. Why does a diet soda cause weight gain when it has 0 calories? And
okay.
the reason is the artificial sweeteners aspartame. And aspartame has 92 known negative side effects. One of
Sure.
them is it increases your cravings for sweets. So you may have the diet soda, but then you're going to want the candy bar, the cookie, the donut, or hot fudge sundae, whatever it is. I see it all the time. People at restaurants will order diet soda and then go order a hot fudge sundae.
Wow.
So, and the other thing is with the aspartame, it prevents your body from absorbing vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. So your body is not able to get the right fuel, and it goes into what they call starvation mode, where it fights like crazy to keep the weight on. So that's why a 0 calorie beverage can cause weight gain.
Thank you for sharing that. I know that CEO members in our community, you post all these little tidbits and give us articles, and I've been amazed where the headline I'll say, "Yeah, I know that," and then I start to read the details, and it's like, "Oh my gosh, I know it, but now I want to take action on it, right? Because it just didn't click, right? Like
Yeah.
aspartame, I didn't know what it was doing to me. I just knew it was bad, so occasionally I would have it, but after reading some of your posts inside our community and watching others. We got a comment. I don't know if you can see the comments, David, but Clark House says, "Ouch, that one hurt." That's funny.
Yeah, it's interesting. I learned from T. Harv Eker the three worst words you can ever use are "I know that." Because when we say that, it usually means we're not doing what we know what to do.
Yep. But when you post those, you give a lot more detail in the community because you have time to type it and interact with the community. So I always read the title and go, "Oh, David, that's not big news." And then you start reading why, and I go, "Oh my goodness, this is bad. This is painful." So yes. So maybe now that people got a flavor that you're just there to help, you do lots of things. Take us back to, if you don't mind, take us back to 2016 and what were you doing in 2015 and before, and then what flipped your passion, what flipped your switch in 2016?
Well, I'm a former lawyer, as you mentioned. However, I practiced in Phoenix, Arizona. I
Ah,
started law school in Chicago and finished up in Arizona. Uh,
okay.
and I stopped practicing law for health reasons because I did divorce work and I had depression, anxiety, wasn't able to detach from my clients' issues. So their issues became my issues. And then I started becoming a world class expert at playing casino craps. I wrote a couple of books on that. Uh, and then I went to the doctor, and he told me, based on my lab results, I was 61 at the time, and that I was fat. I had a 95% chance for a fatal heart attack. And he gave me two options. He said, dude, either you lose weight or you find a new doctor. And he strongly encouraged me to find a new doctor because he'd been on me for 8 years to lose the weight. And if I did lose weight on a diet, I did the Jenny Craig, I did other diets, I gained it all back, and sometimes even more. And when you think about it, if you gain 5 pounds a year, it may not sound like a lot, but after 10 years, that's 50 pounds. And that's where I was. I was 50 pounds overweight. And the light bulb went off. And during the next 4 months, I shed 40 pounds, which was 25% of my total body weight. More importantly, I kept it off. And then in June of 2022, at age 67, I hiked up Mount Kilimanjaro.
Phenomenal.
And what I learned in doing research for the various books that I've written, it's basics. I was rereading my books from the 70s by Paul and Patricia Bragg, Jacqueline Lane, Richard Simmons, William Duffy, Sugar Blues, because back then I was healthy and fit. Like most people, life gets in the way, family responsibilities, work obligations, and you stop exercising. I did stop eating healthy, started eating fast foods, convenient foods. And again, the weight crept up. So I went back and then I started reading books from current authors, and they were advocating their products or their methods and made it sound like if you didn't invest with them, you'd fail. And I thought something's wrong.
Mm.
So I advocate going back to basics. And then I doing more research, what I realized it's not the food we're eating, it's what they've done to the food that we're eating. For example, Gatorade was created in the late 1970s. It had 6 ingredients. Today it has over 13. The only two original ingredients are water and sugar. High fructose corn syrup wasn't introduced until the late 1970s. Olestra, which is now called Olean, which is what they use for fat-free products, wasn't introduced until the early 1980s. Again, these chemicals, which started out as for drug products, didn't exist before 1980s. So it's the food that we're eating now. It's the additives, the chemicals, and that's why when people go on a diet, they struggle. And that's why I advocate, be careful what you're eating. And a lot of times there's a lot of misleading information out there. Something will say low fat, or it'll say heart healthy, or it'll say high protein.
Right.
It's deceptive. They don't talk about the sugars in there. They don't talk about the, other chemicals they're using. So I always advocate to read the ingredients. Now, a lot of people don't like to take the time to read. I'll give another tip to the audience. There's an app. It's free. It's called Yucca. It's spelled Yuka. And you can download it to your phone. And if you scan the product that you're looking at, whether it be a cereal, any type of packaged food, even shampoos and cosmetics, it'll tell you if it's healthy or not. And it'll give you suggestions if it's not healthy.
Excellent. That's phenomenal. So people, I just like to get in the middle of there. We
have the wrong website on there, Bill.
Well, let's take that down. Okay, what's the right website? All right.
It's life42health.com.
You know what? I read that. Sounds like you might have a cat.
I do. He's got some issues, so he likes to cry a little bit.
All right. Let's see if this is the right website. Double check.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. We'll leave that up there, and then we'll do that again at the end. So Life 42, how people are always interested. Yes, you're an author. Yes, you have books, but I know you put yourself out there in other ways. So how can people interact with you? Because it's quite evident we can ask you anything, and even when we're backstage, you're already giving me advice on how to come back from a 5-week vacation and get back on the bus, right? Get back on the treadmill or get back on the apples. So, so how do people interact with you? Because our community, I don't want to be selfish, but for executives that are CEOs that have $1 billion or more in revenue, that's what we're about at CEO Zones. And that's probably not most of the people, right? So, as a matter of fact, that's very few of the people. So,
what I like to do is help businesses. Doesn't matter the size. If they have employees, I offer the Life 42 Reset Health Reset. It's the community. We're brand new, as you know. It's only $10 a month, and what you get is you get a weekly newsletter. You get the individual coaching with me. You can just reach out for a 15-minute, 30-minute call when you need it. You get the book Jaded Health for now. Before in the future, it'll be my new one coming out called A Path Forward, which will be in February, 2026. And then they also get a copy of the Daily 42 Tracker, the Life 42 Daily Tracker, and it's just 7 simple tasks that you do each day, and you just check off whether you did it or not. And there's some grace in there. So you have 5 days that you don't have to be perfect. So if you want to go out and have a glass of wine or an alcoholic beverage, you can do that. However, if you go 6 days or more without being perfect, you have to start over. And the people that start over find out that it's easier to keep getting better and better as they move along. And the 42 days is just a jump start. It's just a starting point to get you going for, the lifetime of living a lifestyle that you enjoy.
Right.
And everybody's different. So I offer various things on the community. It's in the school platform, and I do posts several times a week. And the members find that they're very valuable. They're similar to the posts that I put in CEO zones.
Right.
And so that's how people can reach out. And again, the main important thing is I keep people accountable. I offer the support. And again, for $10 a month, it's because it's a great value and it's affordable. It's not cheap. And I did that intentionally so that people don't have the excuse of saying, I'm not able to afford it. Because if you avoid a Starbucks coffee or one meal at a drive through, it'll pay for itself for the entire month.
Right. Right. That's just phenomenal, David. You're very giving, very kind of you. Um, I guess one of the topics or bullets that we suggested to the audience, come join us for the live stream or you'll get the replay. One of them is how to start treating your body like the remarkable machine it is. Could we go a little deeper into that? I know we hit pieces of it, but let open up and share some more there. So,
Well, in my opinion, true health is not a product. It's not something you can purchase or buy. You have to earn it, and it's through the process. And excellent health is a result of what you do each day, the choices you make.
right,
Do you want to have the soda or diet soda, or do you want the glass of water? Do you want to eat the healthy food, or do you want the highly processed manufactured food? So it's the choices, and that's attitude is everything, as you know, Bill.
yeah,
And I have a little saying on my desk: attitude is everything. The older I get, the healthier I become. The healthier I become, the more motivated I am to be healthier. And my philosophy is I am growing younger as I get older. I'm 70 and I talk to people in their 50s and 60s, and they're telling me about their aches, their pains, their knee issues, their back issues, their shoulder issues. And they
yeah,
look at me saying, "What are you doing?" Well, I'm eating food that is anti inflammatory, and I'm eating food that doesn't cause inflammation in the body. And like I said, there's a lot of misleading information, a lot of deceptive marketing used by the food industry, the drug industry. And that's why I want to make an impact and educate and inform people what's out there. Again, it's not what we can do, it's what we will do. And we all know what to do, we just don't do it.
right. One of your other quotes from somewhere, and I forget where, is sometimes we treat our cars better than our own bodies, and we know they have regular maintenance and only last so long. And
Yeah. And the other thing I also ask people, most people treat their pets better than themselves. They provide better food for their dogs and cats or birds or whatever they have than they do their own bodies. The example I use in the book is the owner of a thoroughbred racehorse. And he'll tell you about all the vet appointments, the feed he gives him, the exercise he gets, the trainers, everything. And you look at him and you say, why aren't you doing the same for yourself? As he was, eating a hamburger with, cheese, French fries, and washing it down with a Coke. And that's a true story. I did meet someone like that in Vegas, and he was telling me about his racehorses. And so, again, if we would treat our own bodies like the incredible machine it is, it will last a lot longer. It won't cause you aches and pains, and you'll be able to be a participator in life instead of a spectator. And when I
right,
say that is like, do you want to get down on the ground with your grandkids or kids and be able to play with them? Or do you want to have to sit and watch? And that's the difference.
exactly, exactly. And having a great grandson that loves apples, I guess he's been teaching me good habits. And yeah. What would happen? So some people get our age and their teeth start to get kind of wonky. What do you suggest for anything in your mind where maybe they can't chew properly or an apple isn't going to work for them? Anything like that that you come up with?
Well, I would advocate spending the money on good dental.
Okay.
Uh, I have a couple implants myself
Okay.
for teeth. Uh, I spent the extra money. And the reason I did that is my dad had issues with a bridge that he had in his mouth,
Hmm.
and he wasn't able to chew food properly, and it caused a lot of problems for him. He's passed because of leukemia. However, uh, That's one thing I don't. I wish I took better care of my teeth earlier,
Mhm.
but I take very good care of my gums and my teeth now, and it's not that difficult. You brush your teeth, use the floss, use a water pick, whatever is going to work for you. Here's another little tip: avoid mouthwash. There's some research that shows that mouthwash could cause high blood pressure. I had a dentist about 20 years telling me that. They were doing some studies on it. What you can do is use diluted hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so you can swish your mouth with it. I use it in my water pick occasionally. It works fantastic. If you're not able to chew foods like an apple or pear, you can slice them and cut them, make them smaller pieces. Yogurt's really good. A banana's good.
Okay.
Just cut the food a little smaller so it makes it easier to chew.
Okay. Just somebody in my life came to mind there, which is why I apologize. I know I stopped you in your tracks and you had to think about that one, but it just crossed my gray matter that they're probably going to watch and need that. So, okay. Um, I don't know how to explain to people that it is. So I've done lots of diets, right? Um, and I just don't know how to explain to people that it is so. You read it and you go, well, that's too simple. All these other diets make me do this, make me do that, and you just laid it right out there. And it's I don't know how to help you kickstart people, but we need to cause a movement because it's so easy once you get to like 20 days in that you question, well, how can this be so easy, or why does this work, or why is it just
Yeah,
so easy, and I don't have to go buy all these extra things, and I don't have to run out and buy a treadmill if I don't have one, or I don't have to go do something crazy with some kind of sport or equipment or something. So how do we I don't know what the answer is, but how do we help you help more people? What's behind that? How can we help more people?
just it's a great value. I have a little saying also that true wealth always begins with excellent health. Because when we're younger, we'll sacrifice our health in pursuit of wealth. And as we get older, we'll spend our wealth in pursuit of health. So I want to create a balance where people can enjoy their wealth and their health at the same time. Because how many times have we heard someone has worked all their life, decides to stop working and retire, and then a few years later, they're gone? They didn't get to enjoy their wealth. So it's never too late. A lot of the diseases out there, type 2 diabetes being one of them, are reversible and they're preventable. Uh, High blood pressure is reversible, it's preventable. Heart and disease, stroke. I was fortunate. I avoided the heart attack. I've met so many classmates from high school at our 50th reunion that weren't so lucky, and they were talking about their heart attacks, their open heart surgeries, their hip replacements, knee replacements, their different types of cancers, and they were wearing it as a badge of honor. And then I come in and they're looking at me and they're like, "What are you doing?" And again, I was fortunate. I just changed my eating habits. Uh, a lot of the members, they'll tell me that they'll see relatives or friends and they're saying, "What diet are you on?" They're like, "I'm not on a diet. It's a lifestyle." And when you have that lifestyle, you enjoy it. It's a lifestyle that works for you because everybody's different. So I
Right.
tell people, hey, if you don't like Brussels sprouts, you don't like broccoli, you don't like asparagus, don't eat it. I met a lady who paid another weight loss coach $1,500, lost 75 pounds, gained it all back. And I said, well, what happened? And she goes, well, I didn't want to keep eating the kale and the Brussels sprouts. I said, well, why would you? I don't eat it. So I said, I don't work that way. I find out what you enjoy that's healthy for you, and then you focus on that because what you focus on expands. So that's the approach we take: is find out what you like and you enjoy and focus on that. And don't look at it as a sacrifice. I haven't had a soda since 2016. I haven't had a Hershey bars, Pringles potato chips, M&Ms, any of those since 2016. It's a choice. I treat myself like an alcoholic. If I start having one, especially Girl Scout cookies, I'll eat the whole box in one sitting. I'll eat the whole canister of Pringles and still want more. They've scientifically engineered the food to optimize your cravings for it so that you never get the signal to your brain that you're full or to stop. And so that's why I tell people it's not always your fault. It's what they've done to the food that's causing it. They're making you food addicts. That's why they call you a food junkie or junk food. And so if you can get into a routine and do it slowly, I always advocate give yourself a year. And people say, why a year? Well, would you like to weigh 24 to 48 pounds lighter by this time next year? Most people say, yeah. Okay, can you lose 2, 3, 4 pounds on average per month for the next 12 months? Because some months you'll lose a lot more, some you'll lose less, some you won't lose any at all.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, I can do that. I said, that's it. But today, everybody wants the quick fix. They want the miracle drug. They want the GLP-1s, the Wegovy, the Ozempics. They want to, the national brands advertise lose 20, 30 pounds your first month guaranteed. You'll lose it. It's not sustainable, nor is it healthy. So this is the difference between being on a diet and being on a lifestyle. A diet is like a sprint. There's a finish line. And when people reach the finish line, they reach their weight loss goal, they revert back to their old habits and regain all their weight. If you look at the lifestyle as a marathon, in this marathon, there's no finish line. You just keep going. And that's the difference.
Excellent.
How do you get people motivated? That's the $64,000 question. I talked to one person. He says, I'm 60 years old. I tried every diet. I need to lose 70 pounds. I've given up. And he's talking to me as he's eating a Big Mac, fries, and drinking a diet soda. Mm. And I'm saying, are you want to give up the McDonald's and the diet soda? He goes, I'll give up the McDonald's, not the diet soda. I said, I'm not able to help you. I said, can you mix some water in between the diet sodas? Because he's drinking a lot of it. Yeah. And he says, I'll do my best. And he says, to be honest, I'm just not ready to get out of my comfort zone. And that's what it is. Right. One of the stories that I have in the Jaded Health book is about a dog sitting on a nail. And the neighbor walking by says to the person on the porch, why is that dog crying and whimpering? And he says, he's sitting on a nail. And he says, why doesn't he get off the nail? And he goes, because it doesn't hurt that much. And that's where most of us are today with our health issues and our weight issues. It doesn't hurt enough to make us want to do something different.
Right. Well, I remember January, February, you said, hey, Bill, you're going to be married 50 years come December. You got time. You could have this weight off and go to your 50th anniversary and probably live to get to the 50th anniversary as well. But in any event, that didn't work. And then all at once, I just said, okay, it's time. So, and now I'm going to have my 5 apples and a lot of water tomorrow and get vacation and cruise and a wonderful conference last week with some wonderful people where you get the quick break and you got to go eat what you can. So I'll get back on the bandwagon tomorrow. That's for sure.
Great. Yeah.
And I do mean tomorrow, not Monday, not later. Tomorrow.
After the holidays. Yeah. I came up with a new disease I want to advocate out there and start promoting. It's called ecolitis.
Ecolitis. Okay.
And what that is, it's a modern health condition characterized by excess weight, low energy, and poor metabolic health resulting from eco-based deceptive marketing tactics used by the processed food and beverage industry.
Unfortunately, that industry was very, very good to me during my work life.
Again, but when we were growing up, it was a lot different than it is now.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of the food companies were purchased by tobacco companies.
Right.
And they put in their processes for making things addictive into the food.
We won't use either first name of that large company. Okay.
I'm not mentioning names. I'm just saying a tobacco company.
Yeah. But 2 first names come to mind. So one other thing crossed my mind. I My wife drinks these little packets, and I think they're called True Lemon, and like as a hot drink in the instead of coffee in the afternoon or something. Have you ever heard of True Lemon, the little packets that you put in hot water?
No, again, look at the ingredients, and if
Yep.
you feel comfortable with it, that's fine. Again, I'm not advocating perfection,
Yep.
just consistency. I do enjoy a piece of chocolate cake every once in a while, or a pecan pie at the holidays. I have a slice, a small slice, like a sliver, instead of a big piece like I used to. I do enjoy a scoop of ice cream instead of eating a whole pint or half gallon of Breyer's mint chocolate chip. And there is a big difference when you have homemade ice cream um, from restaurants or on cruises as opposed to the store bought. Again, they've changed how they process the ice cream. What they've done is they've added a chemical, and I don't recall off the top of my head, where it prevents it from uh, icing up. So when the ice cream is moved from the plant on a truck to the warehouse and then to the grocery store, and then from the grocery store to your house, sometimes it'll get soft and melt, and when it refreezes, it'll crystallize. Well,
Right.
they've added something in there to keep it from recrystallizing and just keep it creamy.
Okay.
So that's the thing. The other thing is, I have a little saying that you can never own excellent health. You can only rent it, and the rent is due every day in the form of the food and beverage choices you choose to eat and drink.
Wow. Wow. You have good quotes, David. That's excellent.
Yeah, it's not like a vaccine where you get an injection, you're good for years. It's every day.
Right. So your website, in our last couple minutes, I think we promised people 45 minutes, and we're coming up on 42 minutes here. But give us a visual of what they are going to find when they go to life42health.com, or what
Well,
should they find?
they'll find some of the issues they're having that we will address the problem for them. They'll also find the free PDF of the 9 simple golden rules there, so they
Okay.
can get that and download it. Uh, they'll find where they can sign up for the Life 42 Health Reset community. And
Okay.
again, it's only $10 a month. People think that's too cheap. It's not cheap. It's affordable. There's a difference. I like to give great value to people because I want to make an impact, and I don't want people to feel that they're missing out because it's not affordable to them.
Right.
And so it's a choice. Can you give up a Starbucks? Can you give up a fast food meal? Um,
Hmm.
then it's affordable too. And they get great resources. They also get individual coaching with me if they want. And when we
That's
get to,
amazing that you give your time like that, all for $10 a month. That's wow. I'm pretty sure that our CEO audience is scratching their head going, I couldn't afford that to just give my calendar link out, even if they were paying a lot of money to
uh,
talk to the CEO.
no, I understand. Again, when we get to a point where I'm not able to give individual, I'll do group coaching
Uh-huh.
so that people, can learn from others. A lot of times people ask a question that someone else is thinking doesn't want to ask.
Right, right,
And it's to offer support, encouragement, empowerment, motivation. There's no judgment. It's not shaming anybody. It's just, hey, what happened last week? What went right? What went wrong? Whatever you did wrong, what did you learn from it? And what will you do to move forward to fix it?
very, very met all my business life processes, and you just made it very easy for me to follow. And it's been a pleasure to have you today. I highly recommend David. I will tell you that I'm at 30 pounds, but I've got 19 or 20 to go, and I don't have a mental problem at all knowing that I can do that if I just get out there and do it every day, with the occasional slip. But 4 days of slipping didn't do me any wonders last week. So we'll do the 5 apples tomorrow with lots of water. And it's been a tremendous pleasure to be with you again, David. And it's amazing to me, just off the top of your head, that you have all these tips. I know you have a book and books, excuse me, books out there, and your website and your tips you give us inside CEO zones to the CEO community. But you've got it all up here. That's amazing. So I really thank you for being our guest today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to meet the audience and give some information to the audience.
All right. We have one last comment here. Thank you very much. The folks making Diet Coke maybe aren't so appreciative. Well, we have some former executives in the community, and one of them is a content partner, so maybe not. But is Coke Zero different than Diet Coke? Do you know? What's the? It's
The
still
formulation is different.
right, but it's
They
still
use a different
soda, right?
artificial sweetener for it.
Right.
Uh,
I'm
so when I was growing up, saccharin was the artificial sweetener most people went to instead of
right.
sugar.
Yeah.
Uh, it's just when you read some of the stuff about what they have manipulated as far as research, you can no longer believe some of the studies done. You have to follow the money and see who's funding it.
Exactly.
Again, Coke is the most recognized uh, name and trademark in the world. Uh, and if someone wants to enjoy a Coke, that's up to them. I'm not telling them, one way or the other, but I choose not to, and that's my choice.
Right. Fair enough. Well, you have a great day. Thank you so much. And anybody out there would go to David's website. When you see this on the replay, please reach out to David. He's literally as kind one on one as he was today. So thank you so much for David and you sharing all your knowledge. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill.